Hey everyone, hope you're having a nice day and thanks so much for clicking on this video. This has been a long awaited and I'm so glad I've finally released my own Bandos guide. I'm sure you saw the intro just before this and I hope you really like it because that's my intro from now on. Please feedback on it, it really helps a lot. Now this video is very special because a friend of mine, Lion Fury, has offered to advertise this and put it on his spotlight video, so a shout out to him. A lot of time and effort went into this, so I really hope you enjoy it. Now that's enough chatting, let's get on with the guide. First slide. General Drygore, I think that's how you pronounce it, is one of the 4 massive bosses located at Godwars dungeon on Death Plateau. He's extremely difficult to kill, so I recommend watching the whole of this guide so you know exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. There is a high risk of dying, so do not risk anything you don't mind losing, but to counter all those big risks comes high rewards. I'll talk about them later. The General looks like the picture on the right, is level 210, but don't be confused by that, he's a lot more powerful than a normal level 210. And he gives 4,430 XP per kill. Now the minimum requirements for entering the dungeon is 60 strength and or agility and the very easy quest Troll Stronghold. The money per hour varies dramatically because it can range from 1 mil to 10 mil per hour or even more if you get very lucky. The mindset you want while going to this boss is that you probably won't get an item because they're fairly rare, around 1 in 250. But even the common drops can add up, like his 200k coin drop and the Lantadime seeds. If you have the recommended stats and a good team that also has the knowledge that you have, then there is hardly a risk of dying at all. In fact, I've never died at Bandos, so don't worry. Now let's move on to the second slide. Now guys, the most annoying creatures and the most damaging things in the room are the general minions, which consist of 3 very powerful goblins that also have the chance to drop some of those expensive rare items that we all want. They each have a combat level of 146 and Sergeant Grimspike attacks with range. He is the most powerful. Then comes his 2 brothers which are called Steel Will and Strong Stack. They attack with magic and melee respectively. So this gives you even more things to worry about. But don't worry, they are very easy and we'll discuss the slaying tactics later on in the guide. Next slide. Alrighty, now we're on to the tanks info and the recommendations. Now I'm sure you know what a tank is, but if you don't, the tank is the person who takes all the damage from the boss and always attacks it first, so you probably guess he has to wear the best defensive gear. Now for being the tank, in a team you probably want to have the highest defense level out of the people you're bossing with, and you have access to a couple of million of GP for the recommended tanking equipment. If you're not going to be the tank, you may skip this if you want to, but it may be useful for future reference. Your recommended stats is going to have to be near 85 plus attack, strength and defense, so you can at least deal some damage and defend as well. But don't worry, you can give or take a few levels. 68 summoning is also a recommended stat because this gives you access to the War Tortoise, which can hold up to 20 items, but this is not necessary. You can of course tank without familiar. For the prayers, a minimum of 43 plus prayer is a skill that you have to have, so you can unlock the prayer melee. This is what you want to pray when you're attacking the boss, but if you have the money and patience to get 92 prayer, this will greatly increase your chances of survival and how long you can last before banking. This is because you can use Soul Split, which is a curse, and there's many requirements for it. Now, the next point is when you start a trip and you've got your 40 kill count and you're outside the room, the tank always enters the room first so that the General Drygore attacks you, not anyone else. And after the kill, you should probably stand in the middle of the room so the boss spawns nearer you. And finally, below is the default ability bar, but you definitely need to add some better abilities to it, like regenerate, etc. Now we're moving on to the armor setup slide. Okay guys, as you can see in this slide, I'm showing you what gear and inventory setup you should try to use. The character in the top left is my character and my personal favourite setup that I've been using a lot. But you can use your own setup, and below is the most effective gear to use from high to low. Your inventory should consist of a teleport tab in the case of emergency, 1 prayer flask to renew your prayer, 2 to 4 overloads depending on how long you can last, normally I take 2 or 3, 1 super restore which is used for prayer and so you can renew your summoning familiar, and finally the rest is sharks including your War Tortoise. If you're duoing you can stay for quite a while, and if you're trioing you hardly use any food at all. So you might want to change the quantity of potions you bring. Now we're going to move on to the extra character slides. Okay guys, this is the next slide, and for this part of the guide, this is going to be for all people who aren't the tank. I'm calling these extras. These armor setups are meant for defense and DPS. If you're an extra, you want to try and provoke all the minions off the tank onto yourself and other extras because they can hit very hard. For being an extra, you want a decent level of 70 plus defense, and then you want around 80 plus magic for this setup. Of course there's others, but today I'm mainly focusing on the extra magic setup. 68 plus summoning for a bunyip is very useful, but don't use a war tortoise because this will be aggro on the boss, so it may start attacking you. A level of 40 plus prayer for protect missiles is really good. Well, you have to have it pretty much, but if you have 92 for soul split, that will be perfect. Now, when you've finally gotten your kill count and waiting and potting up outside the boss room, you have to wait for the tank to enter first, then the extras straight after the boss attacks the tank. This is vital pretty much. When you have your first kill, pick up your juicy loots and stand at the side of the room, waiting for the spawn. This is so you don't get attacked by the general first. Below is the default ability bar from the range, melee and mage, and of course they need customizing and adding to. Personalise them to how you want. Now we're moving on to the extra setup. Now we're on to the extra setup. In this slide I'll be showing you what to wear and what to have in your inventory. The character in the top left is mine, and this is what I use when I'm an extra. Here you can see I'm using a wand and a Griffolic orb for most of the DPS I can have. Also, a little thing I forgot is to have the fire and blood runes in my inventory. Below my character is the most effective mage gear from high to low, so try to have as much as the higher tier stuff as possible. Now, this next bit you must remember, and I have failed doing this so many times and had to go back to the bank. Remember your Zamorak arrow. This is a must, otherwise you get punished by the Zamorakian minions. Also, if you're not as confident, wear a piece of Bandos armour so they don't attack you. Also, lastly, remember to bring rock climbing boots so you can climb over the obstacles, etc. The inventory should consist of a panic teleport tab for emergencies, 1 prayer flask or potion, 2 to 4 overloads depending on how long you think you can last, 1 super restore flask, 2 to 3 spare familiars, and the rest is food. Next slide. Okay guys, in this part I'm going to be showing you how to get there. Now, if you've done Death Plateau, I'm sure you know how to get here. You just hop over the wall. Keep following the path until you get to another wall, hop over that, and then go through the gate. You see the Dad, which is a huge troll that you've probably defeated in a quest before. Just go through the gate next to him. Then you want to go northwest and enter the cave tunnel. In this cave, I'm sure you won't get lost. It's only a one-way system and takes about 10 seconds to get out of, so just go out of the other entrance. And then you end up here. You're really near Godwars dungeon now. Okay, now you want to put on prey range because you go past loads of trolls, and then you want to hop past the boulder. And then you want to enter the Godwars dungeon and head north towards all the goblins and the Bandos thingies. Don't go to the Bandos boss room yet. You have to get your 40 kill count first. I'll just kill the ogres and the goblins for this. It will only take about 10 minutes, so don't worry. Okay, now that you've got your 40 kill count, you want to head through the big door to the west. Then you just want to run all the way through here until you get to the door. Enter the door and then wait there for your team. Now, once all your team is ready and the tank's ready, you should all pot up. And then the tank goes in first, as you can see, because the tank is me. And then all the others follow in after me to start killing the boss. Now, I'll fast forward this so you can watch all my strategies and what I do. Just copy me pretty much. And wow, we didn't expect that. As you can see in that clip, I got a Bandos Tacit. It's about 1 in 250 drop rate, and we got it fairly close at the start of the trip. So yeah, we were pretty happy. And here on screen is some of the juicy lootations you can get, including Bandos Tacits, Bandos Chestplate, Bandos Gloves, Bandos Helmet, an Starved Ancient Effigy, and the Bandos Hilt. If you get any of them, I count you as really lucky, and that's a good day's work of bossing. Okay everyone, that is my Bandos guide. I really hope you enjoyed it. A lot of time and effort went into this. It took a long time making. It's one of my longest guides ever. And I really hope you liked it. Really hope it helped you. And I hope it opened your eyes to the fun of bossing and what items you can get. Now, I'm going to be doing loads of these over the summer, so tune in for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like, subscribe and comment button. Thanks very much.